Cool. Thanks.
SIUE head men's basketball coach Brian Barone. Sixth season with the program. Coach, just some thoughts about your team heading into this season.
It's a different feel going into this season. We have good retention again with a group of guys that have been with me for several years, but then we have some important factors coming in as new guys. So it's been fun to kind of almost forget, oh, I have to go back and explain this a little bit better, even terminology. The last couple of years, I had such a consistent group of guys that had been with me for 4 or 5 years, whatever the case was. So from that perspective, as a coach, it's been I'll do coach talk. It's been a great challenge, but it's been a lot of fun. It also puts in perspective that what we've done with this program, where you're following through with the guys that are coming in and actually graduating and in kind of the old school way. Been with me several years, and then they move on, and then you kind of refresh your program. So from that perspective, it's been a little unique and fun. Moving forward, we have a good group of guys that I really do enjoy going to practice every day and leaving. I know Ray, who's been with me for 5 years now, like after practice the other day was like, coach, practice has been a lot of fun. So I don't know if I'm just treating it too much like camp or something, playing knockout and dribble tag, or if just kind of what I said, the refresh button, in all kind of the going back to some of the basics and fundamentals is just kind of exciting.
Thanks, Coach. Again, if you may ask questions, just let me know down the chat and I will call on you. What is it like? You have some fifth-year players. You mentioned Rayshawn and Desmond. Like, what is it mixing like those people with and the newcomers? How do you do that? How do you handle all that? Like, now that you don't have as many upperclassmen who have been with you, as you said, for the past couple.
I think one of the biggest things is you just gotta it starts with those two. Ray and Des, the kind of people that they are, and they're my captains this year. I've never had captains before, and I felt that over the summer. They really embraced their new teammates, led by them, and then the other ones jumped in, the other returners as well. I think that's step one. They have to understand that they value who we have bringing in. They're part of their recruiting process, our returners. We talk to them about who we're bringing in, what we're trying to piece together, what this guy can do, what this guy can't do, how they fit. So I think they're from the investment program, part of the program. They're with us through the whole recruiting process of getting the new guys in. So when they get there, they feel like they had a lot to do with it, which they did. And I think that, that's one of the things that we've really done to kind of mesh the new and the old. And then you sit there and you, as a coach, you look at the new guys and you see, okay, we can do this, or maybe we can tweak this a little bit differently to this particular player. And then that's an exciting challenge as well. And this is that time of year where you're trying to figure all those things out. And then the last thing, you just got to be really honest and genuine. There's times where, hey, Ray can do that, Des can do that because, and then you share a little bit of the story and of the credit they have earned over the years. Not necessarily anything wrong, but just kind of, this conversation takes place a little differently because you got to understand the COVID years, through the injuries, through the as we're building it. And that's what, I want to learn from them as much as I think their new teammates should learn from them. And we're in this together. So I think those are kind of the ways that I've approached it. Hopefully it's the right way.
All right. We got some questions here. We'll go to Matt Camp first. Go ahead, Matt.
What's up, Matt? How you doing?
Hey, Brian, how are you?
Good to see you.
You too. Just talk about meshing everything together. I mean, with the NIL and transfer portal now, it seems like every year it's a whole new different team. So just trying to find that chemistry during the off season with these guys, just the difficulties and challenges of that.
I think one of the biggest things is you have to really be smart about your time management. One of the things that we have done a good job of, and I'm proud of the guys we brought in. My wife and kids are a huge part of this program. We do talk about, this is a lifelong relationship. This is goes far beyond basketball. We sell, we preach, but we live. The what we want to say is the family atmosphere. Everyone kind of talks about it. Some people do it, some people don't. I'd like to think we do. So to answer your question, the reason I started with that is because we're never going to lose that foundation. We're never going to lose the foundation of, like, we got to bring in the right kind of people that can go to the children's hospital, that can go referee the local basketball game, that can be, hey, here's where I need you to be, and you don't have to have a 15-minute conversation on how to act. That's very important. So when you do your research with all of that, coupled with NIL, with transfer, with opportunity for playing time and all that kind of stuff, you got to see where you stand with them. What priorities do they have? Do they have the priority of being part of what we built this thing, the foundation of hard work and family and togetherness? If that's the priority, then you build on that, and then you have to figure out some of the other things. And what is that worth to you, as opposed to maybe a financial component that maybe someone else is telling you, whether it's truthful or not. So that is a very important thing when you're building meshing, is we're trying to really economize our time in a way where we're spending time on the guys that want to be part of what we are best at. And then you evolve as a staff, as a coach, and as a community, as a department. You have to try to figure out ways to kind of get in the game of the college athletic world right now. You got to navigate what is really happening and what isn't happening. I think the foundation that we've really laid on is let's continue to be genuine and truthful. Inevitably, there's people out there that do it a little bit differently, and we have faith that we're going to bring in the right kind of guys through the right kind of way.
Steve Porter, go ahead. You're up next.
Morning,
Steve.
Coach. How you doing?
Good morning. How you doing, Steve?
Great. Hey, what do you classify as the strengths of the team, and where do you think you need to make the most improvement?
It's a good one. Strengths of the team. I think we're going to continue to be versatile. All right, there's no doubt. You got Rayshawn Taylor, you got Desmond Polk. It's always nice when you have veteran guards. I would say in any league, at any level. So that would be a strength in terms of their experience, their leadership, their production. I think people sometimes kind of sleep on Desmond Polk. We've had a couple hiccups over the last few years when Des was hurt, and he's been some huge. A huge factor in several of the games that that you win. He might not have 25 points, but he had some huge plays, huge shots. So the strengths is a little bit of the veterans of those two. I think our versatility is a strength as well. We have good size with different kind of bigs. With Ring Malith being he could be a 6'9", 2-3 man that could also slide over to the 5 if you have a foul trouble injury, something like that. I think that in terms of weakness, we got to continue. I think every coach is always going to be like, you got to play tough every single possession. You got to rebound every possession. So when you talk about toughness, rebounding, physicality, all that kind of stuff, I think that's kind of cliche. At the end of the day, with a new group of guys, I want to work like in a piston. I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. Like, we're all doing our job to collectively work together every play the same way. And right now, as we are evolving through, some bumps and bruises early in the year, new guys, one of the things that we're trying to evolve into is really, functioning together as one unit on every play. And that's something that we're going to, hopefully, as the year continues, you just get better at with time.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
If we'll have other questions, let me know. Let me know down the chat. We got plenty 5, 6, 7 more minutes with Coach here. Coach, what have you seen? We're talking about your team, but from the other OVC teams, it changes a lot. Like, they all have different rosters. We have teams that have nobody back. What do you what are your general thoughts about what the OVC race may be like this
I mean, I think it's going to be very competitive, no doubt about it. I'm sure you've heard that from every coach. I respect the grind of the coaches in this league. We all have to figure things out. Our mentality is find a way. And I think top to bottom in this league, someone who doesn't have a lot of guys back, that could be a good thing. That could be, I know when you take over a program and you have a lot of, sometimes that takes time to establish your culture when you have a group of guys under a new staff, for example. Sometimes the program evolves into it's just time to do the new. And that's a good thing at times. It's also a scary thing at times. So, to kind of talk in circles, I think there's a very good group of coaches in this league that all have a plan, know what they want to do, and they're all probably trying to figure out their team right now. I do think the thing about having so much turnover right now is it's probably exciting. It makes you think, it makes you kind of coach, because there's so many times that I feel like throughout the year, and especially the off season, you almost forget that you're the coach. You're balancing so many other things. So the parity in this league is going to be crazy as the season goes on, and it's going to be the teams that really figure out who they are and mesh together as the season goes on that are probably going to rise to the top.
Let's go back. Matt and Steve both have follow-ups. Go ahead, Matt, first.
Okay.
We've seen a lot of growing community support for your team. You've seen the attendance rise. Just how big of an advantage is that for your team to get to play in front of a packed house like it has been lately at Vidalbin Center?
It's amazing. I mean, you go in there and the great Al McGuire said at Marquette, you're doing your job when you look up to the corners and there's no seats that are empty. And, that's something you strive to do as a coach, not because you want to, hey, look at me. But it's like, hey, you're putting a product out there, a group of guys that you do want your fans to look at. It's nice to be part of community. And I think one of the things that sometimes, we aren't that far removed from those 19 games in 32 days and during those COVID years. And I don't say that as like, cause some people get sick of hearing it. I'll never forget that. And what I mean by that is there was no one in the crowd, right? There was not a community in society where we were in terms of like being able to be together. So what does it mean to have a group of people come in and be part of what we're doing? It means everything. It's awesome. It's amazing what you're able to do with a group of people with belief. And I think that I know our environment is an advantage. It helps. It's exciting for, to bring new guys in. It's exciting to retain the old guys. You're not able to do all of the things that we've done without the people that are with us and stuck with us. There is no doubt about it. I want to win more for them. I look at one day, hopefully being, part of some huge celebration, and it's not look at us on the stage or look at us on the back of a car driving through downtown. It's me looking out at all those people that deserve to have that experience. Because it's a heck of a thing that I'm lucky and my family's lucky to be part of here.
Let's go to Steve Porter again.
Hey, Coach, you got a good group of newcomers coming in. Do you think you'll play a similar style, or do you think you may need to tweak some things?
We're slowing it down, holding it 29 seconds, shooting late shot clock. If Ray would be gone right now if I did that. We're a little different this year, no doubt about it. I do think, as you evolve, it's nice to have guys that can go get baskets. It's nice that guys that late shot clock can do some things. But I think this year right now, as we evolve and as we continue to grow, we have to have a team that is much more unified in terms of cutting and ball movement. We don't have quite as many ball dominant players as we sometimes have had. And I think led by Ray, I think what he has taken advantage of over the years is, okay, I'm not able to play right now in this moment. So his shooting has really been something that he's done a great job of. Now you couple in the mid range and getting to the basket like he has historically done prior to the sacrifice that he made last year on his body coming back so quickly. I think it's a team that we're going to have a lot of similarities, but we're going to be a little bit different in terms of some of the defensive matchups, some things we do defensively, and a little bit offensively too. For us to have success, I think we're going to have to be a little bit more, a little less ball dominant, if that's a.
Anybody else questions for Coach Barone? Let me end with this. I know you could spend 30, 40 an hour on this, on Rayshawn and just his 5 years now and what he's done. And he's just been one of the best players in the league the entire time he's been
An hour. He's not that good. Come on. I mean, he's no, I could, yeah, I'd spend an hour because I'd be crying for about 59 minutes of it. He has impacted, I'll start with me. He's impacted me as a person over these years, from his loyalty to myself, to my family. It starts obviously with his family, to the community, to his dedication to his teammates, to sacrificing his body the way he has over the years. We were walking in here today, and I'm like, how many media days has this been? And he's going, I think it's his third. I was kind of shocked it wasn't his fourth. I was trying to figure out who I brought 5 years ago. But the impact basketball wise, he's a heck of a player. He's evolved every single year. He's navigated through his successes and his hiccups. He's grown. He's every coach's dream in terms of he wants to get better. He's coachable. He's loyal, and he's full limitations, and he doesn't let those limitations stop him. Yeah, you're right. I could talk an hour about him, because this league, having a guy like him in it, is lucky. I'm sure there's a lot of coaches that have guys like it. I know the OVC is in a better place with Rayshawn Taylor entering it, and eventually when he's ready to leave it. And that's something that this league needs to really appreciate. I don't mean that they don't, but I think he's that special of a human that warrants that level of credibility. And we in the coaching profession don't always cross paths with a guy like that, especially nowadays. So yeah, he means a ton to me. He means a ton to me as a person.
Coach, appreciate your time this morning, and just best of luck to you and your team this season.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening to my nonsense a little bit.